Hello, hello. Welcome to Verbling. I'm teacher Oakley, and in this Verbling class, we're going to continue as we have at this time slot through this week, talking about sentence structure. We started off a couple days ago with simple sentences. Yesterday, we explored compound sentences. Today's class, we'll be talking about complex sentences. How they are formed, talk about subordinators and dependent clauses, and you guys will be able to practice forming your own complex sentences. What the heck? Oops. Oh. Okay. Hello, Nader. How are you?
Hello, how are you?
I'm okay.
I'm still okay.
You're still okay? Okay. Me too. I'm still okay. All right. Let's get started because there's quite a bit to look at here. Okay, today we're going to be talking about complex sentences, what they are and how they are formed. Okay, we've just had another gentleman join us. Hello, I'm sorry, what is your name, sir?
My name is Vladimir. Sorry,
Vladimir.
it's my friend's notebook. It's not mine.
Okay, all right, Vladimir, no problem. Welcome to the class. Okay, we're going to be looking at complex sentences, in particular, in light of writing. Okay, I'm going to do a screen share. Here you go, and let's talk about this and what this type of sentence looks like, how it's formed. What is it? Complex sentence has an independent clause joined by one or more, this is key, or more, dependent clauses. It's got to have at least one independent clause. It can have multiple dependent clauses. Okay, a complex sentence always has a subordinator. Examples: because, since, after, although, when, while. There are many others. Or a relative pronoun. So you're making a relative clause. A relative pronoun usually starts a relative clause. Words like that, who, or which. Okay, we're going to look at some examples. In these examples, we're looking at the subject nouns, who did the action, are going to be highlighted in yellow. The verbs are highlighted in green, and the subordinators and their commas, when required. We have to keep in mind when we're making complex sentences the rules about punctuation with commas. Anyway, the subordinators are in red. Let me just give a shout out, a howdy, and a hello to Xingyu. Hello, Xingyu.
Hello, teacher. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can. How are you today?
Yesterday, I tried to join your class, but I had a connection issue.
You had a what?
Yesterday, and at the same time, I wanted to join your class. I had the connection problem. You know?
Okay. No. You had a connection problem. Oh, I get it. A connection problem. Connection problem. Okay. I'm sorry I'm laughing, but for a second, I don't even know how you spell this word. Let me see. Hang on a second. Okay, there it is. All right. I thought you said you had a conniption problem.
Oh, my bad pronunciation.
Yeah, it's okay. Well, here's a little vocabulary for us. If someone has a conniption fit, it's actually a funny word. It means you absolutely freak out and lose all kinds of mental control. I thought you had a conniption, and I was slightly concerned. Okay. Anyway.
Collection.
Conniption.
Collection.
A conniption. Yeah. If you have a conniption, you have a crazy fit. You go absolutely mental. Okay. Anyway, it's a fun word. Okay. But you did not. You just simply had a connection problem. That's good. Okay. Also, Demijan has joined us. Hi, Demijan, again. Good to see you again. Welcome to the class. Okay, and Heidi has joined us. Hello, Heidi. Oh, Heidi's joined us again. So again, hello, Heidi. Welcome to the class. Nice to see you as well. Okay, here we go. Ladies and gentlemen, we're looking here at examples of complex sentences. Again, the subordinator is when. Notice we need a comma here. The subject nouns are highlighted in yellow. When he, and then the verb in green, handed in his homework, comma, he forgot to give the teacher the last page. Now, it's important that we understand what an independent clause and a dependent clause actually are. Okay, just a second. Let me say hello, Fanik. Fanik, thank you. Lots of static. Problems with your microphone again. So, yeah, just mute yourself for now. I'll be asking you to give me examples later. I'll be talking to you, but for now, just please mute yourself. There's a lot of crazy static or something. Okay, independent clause and a dependent clause. What are we talking about? This, number one, has an independent clause. That means that it is a simple sentence by itself. Independent clause equals simple sentence. What that means is it has to follow the definition of a simple sentence. It must have a subject, noun, it must have a verb, and it must be a complete thought. Okay, he forgot to give the teacher the last page. That's a complete thought. That's a simple sentence. That's an independent clause. However, when he handed in his homework, sure, it has a subject, it has a verb, but when he handed in his homework is not complete. If I just say that to you, you're going to think, yeah, what? What happened? So, because there's that time subordinator, it's not a complete idea. All right, so that is a classic complex sentence. This is a dependent clause. It depends on an independent clause to make it into a sentence. It cannot exist by itself in English. In other words, I cannot say when he handed in his homework, period. It would not make sense. It's unacceptable. All right. Okay. Notice the next sentence, the teacher returned the homework after she noticed the error. Same thing. Okay, the first clause, the teacher returned the homework. It's a complete thought. The teacher returned, and then our subordinator here is after. After she noticed the error is the second clause. It's a dependent clause. Very simple. The students are studying because they have a test tomorrow. Okay, I want to also point out with number 3, I could easily say Bobby and Susie are studying. All right, I can have two subjects, no problem, because they have a test tomorrow. That's still an independent, simple sentence. There's no issues there with that. Notice the last pair, 4 and 5, they are actually the same. After they finish studying, Juan and Maria, well, what's going on here? Juan and Maria went to the movies. Juan and Maria went to the movies after they finished studying. With a complex sentence, it doesn't matter if you put the independent clause or the dependent clause first. The only difference is if when the dependent clause is first in the sentence, you must have a comma, as in number 4. When the dependent clause follows the independent clause, you don't need a comma. It's not necessary. Okay. All right, last note, if a comma is placed before the subordinators in sentence 2, 3, and 5, with the dependent clause second, then that sentence is wrong. That is grammatically incorrect. You shouldn't be doing that. Okay, let's see if we can try this out. One other note. Okay, experienced listeners of English will hear a slight pause where commas go. Yeah, you have commas in complex sentences, but any time that you would normally put a comma in a sentence writing, you should be speaking a pause when you're talking. The pause where commas go should be evident in actual speech. In your rhythm and pacing of speech, you should definitely hear a pause. Whereas, when the independent clause begins the sentence, you wouldn't hear a pause in speaking. Well, okay. Thinking about, all right, again, I'll remind you some of our subordinators because, since, after, although, when, while, those are just some. There are so many in actuality. Let's see if we can form our own complex sentences. Let's see what you guys can do. Nader, give it a shot. I'm going to start with you.
After I went to the movies.
Mm-hmm.
I found that the movie has been cancelled.
Movie, what's your verb tense?
Has been cancelled, maybe?
Wait, okay.
Was cancelled? Okay.
There's some problems here.
First of all, we have, okay. After had been cancelled.
The movie had been canceled. That is correct. We need to use the past perfect form because we have a past action, right? You have a past action, and then the second part, the movie had been canceled before I went to the movies. So you're talking about two things in the past. One happens more in the past. That's right. You need past perfect.
And we need a comma.
And we need a comma. That's absolutely correct. Okay. Okay. Yes, this is fine. I found that the movie had been canceled. Right. This is definitely the first clause is definitely a dependent clause. After I went to the movies, comma is correct. I found the movie had been canceled. The movie. Okay. Okay, all right. This is okay. It's just another clause here. Okay. All right. It's a complete idea. All right. Let's just not get too complicated here. Let's just leave that. That's good. All right. That works. Okay. That is a complex sentence. Okay. Okay, Vladimir, your turn. Vladimir, see if you can form a complex sentence using a subordinator.
Okay. I study English because I enjoy watching Hollywood films. Almost.
Enjoy. I'm sorry. I enjoy watching
Hollywood movies.
Okay. What's that? There's more?
You misspelled watching.
Oh, yeah. Okay. You're right, I did. All right. No need for a comma here. I study English is an independent clause. In other words, I could extract this, put a period behind it. It's got a subject, a verb. It's a complete idea. No problem. Then subordinator here is because I enjoy watching Hollywood movies. Okay, very good. That's it. That's the idea. That's perfect. All right, great job. Xingyu, you want to give it a try? Xingyu, are you still connected?
I'm here. I'm alive.
You're alive. You're not having a conniption? Okay.
Oh, you are
okay.
joking. You are joking.
You're right, I am. Okay. Give it a try. Yeah.
After I had taken.
After I
had taken many classes from teacher Oakley.
Oh boy. Okay, I guess it's a title, so I have to give myself a capital. Okay.
My English improved a lot.
Oh, Xingyu. Okay. After I had taken many classes, my English improved a lot. This is interesting. Okay.
After Oakley, we need a comma.
After Oakley. That's exactly correct. Very good. That is the end of the first clause. Very good. Because after that, we introduce a new subject. English improved a lot. Okay, this is interesting. Good verb tense. All right. Okay, my English improved a lot. Past tense. But the thing that came first, had taken many classes. A little different than Nader's because Nader used the past perfect in the independent clause. It's interesting, but he could do that because he actually used passive tense. So, Xingyu, nice job. This is that's perfect. That works great. Good job. Demijan, your turn to give it a try here.
I washed all dishes before Mama come.
Whoops. Dishes before what?
Mother come. Mom.
Oh, okay. Okay, you got the idea of the complex sentence with the subordinator, but let's just talk about a couple other little grammar problems. I washed all dishes. Well, most likely you're talking about specific dishes. Okay, not all dishes in the world, right? That would be very difficult. Quite a challenge. Hercules.
All my dishes in
Uh,
kitchen.
okay. You could say all my dishes. You need a determiner. All the dishes, all my dishes. Sure. Even the would work to show that they're specific dishes. All right. I washed all the dishes before mother come. Okay.
The teacher is if
Probably.
I don't use the, it means that all dishes in the world, like
Yes, it certainly does. Which you want to come here and wash my dishes, Timberjan? I'll let you. That'd be perfectly okay with me. It'd be wonderful. I'd appreciate it greatly. Uh, okay. Oh boy. That's right. I washed all the dishes. So you have to make it specific before, and probably you're going to need a determiner here. Okay. My mother. Okay. All right. And since we have before, before my mother,
until
the verb here is in the present tense. No, before is okay. I don't have a problem with before, but since you got before, I'm worried about this verb tense because it's present tense now. So, okay, I think you need to have before my mother came. All right, and really, because we've got your mother came and you did something before that. Again, it would probably make more sense to have the past perfect tense. I had washed all the dishes before my mother came. It's not necessary, however. And here's a case where because we have before and the time is evident, before describes when the things happen, it's actually not necessary to have past perfect, but just to, well, to be well, less confusing, I guess. We'll stick it in there. So when we use before and after, sometimes we don't really. The use of past perfect or not it's already, the reason we're using it is to show one thing happened before the other. So the words say it. Sorry, question, comment? Anyway, let's get back to the focus here, complex sentences. Heidi, can you, well, let me quickly, actually, sorry, what's the, Bakri, okay, Bakri, hello.
Hello.
Hello, welcome to the class, Bakri.
Thank you.
You're welcome. We're going to give you a chance to try forming a complex sentence in just a minute. First of all, Heidi. Heidi, your turn. Give it a try.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Before going out. Comma.
Very good.
I layered a lot of clothes.
You what? A lot of clothes?
I layered.
Layered?
Yeah, layered a lot of clothes. Yeah. Because it's very cold today.
Ah, I get it. Okay. All right. I get it now. Ah, all right. You layered on yourself. Okay. I thought you were piling up clothes in your house. Okay. All right. Well, look at this. Before going out, all right. I layered a lot of clothes is Heidi's independent clause. So she's got a couple things going on. Because it's very cold today is obviously a dependent clause with the subordinator because. But looky here, she also has before going out. This is not a problem. In fact, it is quite common. So far, everyone has done as I have asked and made a complex sentence with an independent clause and a dependent clause. I must say, and we will see a little bit further in the lesson, a little bit further on, it is extremely common to see an independent clause with more than one dependent clause, with 2 or 3 or even 4. This is very normal. Okay, good job. That is all perfectly correct. Fennec. No one's making any you guys are making very few mistakes, so I have very little to talk about. Fennec, go ahead and give it a try, please.
My bread machine doesn't work because there is a problem on the gear.
Okay, my bread machine doesn't work. Well, there's your independent clause, right? Obviously, because we've begun with a subordinator, because there is a problem. I only have one small problem with this sentence, and that is the preposition on. It's not on a gear, okay, meaning on top of. Sometimes with prepositions you can imagine when you use in, is it really inside of something? When you use on, is it really on the surface of something or on top of something? Here I would use, there's a problem with a gear. That's all though. That's it. Otherwise, and usually we have also the collocation here. A problem with something. Demijan, thank you for joining me today. Bye-bye. Take care. Yeah, problem with something. Okay, Fennec, I have a problem with my mother-in-law. Okay, I can't say I have a problem on my mother-in-law or in my mother-in-law or at my mother-in-law. It's always going to be with. Okay. It's always, the important word there is always. Okay, no, that's right. I'm talking about the collocation, not my mother-in-law, of course. Bakri. Bakri? You ready to give this a try? Bakri?
Yes. After I have searched over the internet for a long time.
Wait. Again?
After I've researched. After I have searched, not received, searched.
After I've
searched.
Saved?
Searched. S-E-A-R-C-H-E-D. Search.
S-E-A-R-C-H. Okay.
Over the internet for a long time. I realized that Verbling is the best option for me.
Commercial for Verbling today. Alrighty then. Okay, I got only one problem with this one, Bakri. What is the one problem with this sentence? Do you know?
Okay.
Do you know what the problem is? You have, here it is. You have the dependent clause first. Here it is. That's the dependent clause. So whenever the dependent clause is first, you need your comma after the following clause. Okay?
Okay.
Whoops.
Teacher.
I forgot Verbling. Yeah. That was my...
Yeah.
silly mistake.
The most important word.
Yeah, right. That was me. A Freudian slip. Xinyu, yes? Do you have a question or?
Teacher,
Yes.
I can give you another example.
Oh, really? Well, okay. Hang on to that example, will you? Can you hang on to that for a second? Because we're going to move on, and we're going to kind of try to do what Heidi was doing by adding more than one dependent clause. So keep your answer, but think about what you might add to it. All right? All right? Well, you're going to get to try again, so hold that thought, in other words. Okay. Complex sentences with adjective clauses. All right. Sentences containing adjective clauses, which are also dependent clauses, are also complex because they contain an independent clause and a dependent clause. Okay, here we're going to say the same thing with the more examples with the, again, the subject noun. The subject noun is yellow, the verb's green, and the subordinator is in red. Take a look at this now with me here. The woman who called my mom sells cosmetics. Alrighty then. Look at the part that is underlined. That is the independent clause. The woman sells cosmetics is actually the independent clause. You've got this dependent clause or adjective clause in the middle, or relative clause. I can call it any of those things in the middle of the sentence. Here's another weird thing with commas. Commas sometimes are optional, and here's another case where they are in fact optional. It's not really necessary when I only have, okay, one dependent clause, one relative clause inside, but it would not be wrong for me to put a commas to surround this dependent clause with commas to make it more clear that it is separate. That would not be wrong. It is not necessary because it is one clear idea. Okay. Notice this style. The book that Jonathan read is on the shelf. It's in the middle. Okay, the house which Abraham Lincoln was born in is still standing. So the house is still standing. It's the very simple independent clause. This extra information, which is why we're calling it an adjective clause, because it's added information about the noun, the house which Abraham Lincoln lived in, the book that Jonathan read, the town where I grew up. Okay, there are added information. Okay, all your relative pronouns, these are all who, that, which, where. These are relative pronouns, but they're also a relative clause. They're also an adjective clause. They're also being used as subordinators in this case. Let's try this out. This may be a little more challenging. All right, sticking a dependent clause in the middle of an independent clause. Let's give this a try. Nader, want to give it a shot using these examples?
Yes.
Okay.
The last book that I have read was very interesting.
Going to the point. Okay. In this case, we're going to talk about this more in a minute. Actually, maybe we can talk about it right now. Okay. Let's. Okay. No, we're not going to talk about it right now. Okay. Sometimes, never mind. I don't want to get ahead of myself. That I have read. The last book was very interesting. Okay, that's the subject, the verb. Okay, that I have read in the middle here is the dependent clause. What I wanted to say, it's kind of difficult to explain. What I wanted to say, sometimes this information is absolutely necessary, and sometimes it is not. Sometimes it is just extra information. Well, maybe I need to show this to you, okay? Because we have what are called essential and non-essential dependent clauses. Let me skip forward here a minute, just because I want to show you this. Okay, if you can see, I don't know if you can see very well these sentences. Jack Smith, comma, who reads comics, comma, rarely reads novels. That is who reads comics is a dependent clause, but it is non-essential. It's not necessary. I can just simply say Jack Smith rarely reads novels. The who reads comics is simply extra information. In D, people who read comics rarely read novels. Well, this isn't the who read comics is an essential dependent clause. We call that an essential dependent clause. All right, it's in the middle. Very similar to what we're doing. I just want to point out that sometimes when it's essential information, we don't need a comma. All right, but when it's totally non-essential, it's not important, it's just extra. In those cases, then we're going to separate it out by use of commas. That's the idea.
If I say Bob Dylan, who is my boss, is coming tonight.
Bob Dylan is your boss?
Anyway, I don't know who's Bob Dylan.
That's awesome. Cool. Can you get me his autograph? Okay. All right. Now, okay. Now, in this case, okay, it's a good example.
It's coming tonight.
Oh, it's coming, boss. It's coming tonight.
Bossing around.
Yeah. I get ahead of myself in my thinking. Now, this case, all right, that's a very good example. Who is my boss is coming tonight. That is totally extraneous information, not necessary here. Bob Dylan is coming tonight. All right, to the essential, important part of the idea, it's not important, so we separate it out by commas. Okay, the last book that I have read, the last book was very interesting. Now I need this information. Okay,
Sure.
because the last book was very interesting. The last book, what? The last book.
Published.
The last
Published book.
The last published book. The last book written by Stephen King. What last book? We don't know, so it doesn't make any sense. We need this information to make it understandable, right? That's the point I wanted to make. And very good second example to show when it's defining the subject to make the sentence understandable, you don't need commas. It's still the same thing. It's still a dependent clause in the middle. As far as how it relates to being a complex sentence, it's really the same thing. It's just a matter of the punctuation difference when you have to punctuate it and when you don't. Okay. All right, Vladimir, let's give this a try. See if you can stick a relative clause in the middle of an independent clause.
Okay. The country I live in is Russia.
Okay.
I think we need commas here.
Do you think so? The country is Russia. I think we don't need commas.
Really?
The country is Russia. I think it's essential to understand the sentence. Well,
Country is Russia. Which country?
the country I live in is Russia. I think we don't need commas. I think it's essential. I believe that is
Oh yeah.
essential. It's necessary. The country is Russia. The country what? The country that I don't know. I could say a lot of things about Russia, but I'm not going to.
All right. My bad.
Okay. Okay. Right. Okay. And here we go. What if we add which? Or which or that are interchangeable, by the way.
I don't like subordinators here.
The country which I live in is Russia. Well, okay. It's very common to drop relative pronouns, which are subordinators, which are relative pronouns, which are subordinators. Okay, back and forth. You could go back and forth forever, but anyway, yeah, especially in speaking, it's very common to drop them. Right, I don't need which here to make this a sentence, but I can have which here to make it a sentence. My advice is that when speaking, it's common to drop it, ellipsis, all right? But when writing, just for sake of clarity and to make absolutely sure you're grammatically correct, then yeah, I would put which. I would use the relative pronoun. Okay, that's what I would do anyway. Xingyu, you're in and out.
Can I ask about another sentence?
Sure. While we're waiting for
I'm married is now my wife.
Okay.
Shouldn't it be the woman I married to is now my wife?
No.
No.
Wait, maybe. Hang on.
I'm married.
The woman I married. Yeah, if you use the woman I am married, then it needs
I should use to.
Right, but if it's the woman I married, you don't need to.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay, we'll leave that one. Xingyu, are you there? Are you having conniption problems? Okay, Xingyu, if you get in, buddy, just give me a shout out so I can give you another chance. In the meanwhile, Heidi, why don't you give this a try?
Okay. The thing.
The thing?
What you have been stepping on? It's my foot.
Is my what?
My foot.
My heart? Oh, okay.
No, foot.
I thought we were writing a country western song for my foot. Okay, my foot. Okay, actually, I want to point this out. This is thank you. This is such a super common mistake for second language speakers. The thing what you have been stepping on. I know you think it should be what. That seems to make sense. Slightly counterintuitive, but in fact this should be which.
Which.
Yes. When you're talking about an object, and clearly which is talking about an object. The thing which you have been stepping on is my foot. Well, okay, and there clearly there's our dependent clause. All right. Sometimes, I don't know, this one's difficult. Is this an essential or a non-essential dependent clause? The thing is my foot. I guess it's essential. The thing is my foot is fairly vague. Okay. I guess it's essential, really. Okay. Good. All right. That was a good one. Xingyu is multiplying, much like the Chinese that he is. They're multiplying. Pretty soon there's going to be 1.3 billion Xingyus. Oh my goodness. Wow. Okay. Bakri, while we're waiting for Xingyu to crystallize, I don't know what else to say. Bakri? Bakri, are you there? Unify, that would be a better word. Yeah, thanks. Bakri seems to be stuck. What are you writing there? Oh, I can't read it. Okay. He can't unmute himself. Oh, that's happened to me before. Yeah, you don't really have a choice but to leave and come back. Yeah. Anyway, that's happened to me before as well. Okay. Let's review and maybe add a couple points. A complex sentence, again, contains one independent clause and one or more dependent clauses. Because life is complex, we need complex sentences. Lovely. There's a simple example. Now, here's another example. Because people know, and here's our dependent clause, relative clause, adjective clause, whatever you want to call it, all of the above in the middle. Because people know that I'm an English teacher, comma, they make allowances for how I dress and what I say. Now, look here. This sentence here contains four, count them, four dependent clauses. The independent clause is the one in blue here. In blue, they make allowances, is basically it. Two of the dependent clauses are inside of and part of the independent clause. Again, that's basically what you guys were just doing, but a simpler form with a relative clause in the middle. Okay, look how muddled up this is. So let's see. Let's identify the dependent clauses. Okay, because people know is one. Two, that I'm an English teacher is two. And then how I dress and what I say. Those are the four dependent clauses. Crazy. All right. Okay, so another way to define it, a complex sentence has one dependent clause headed by a subordinate conjunction or a relative pronoun, as I've been saying, joined by an independent clause. This is the important part. One independent, and we don't care how many dependent clauses. Tomorrow, we're not there yet, but tomorrow, we're not there yet. Obviously, we're not there yet. Tomorrow, we're going to look at compound complex sentences in which we're going to have two or more independent clauses joined with at least one dependent clause. So kind of goes the other way. Okay. Let's look at some more examples here. Although Tom reads novels, Jack reads comics. That's the basic. Jack reads comics, although Tom reads novels. We're just reversing it. We don't need, again, we don't need the commas. So, okay. I keep getting weird electrical surges here. My screen goes blank, my air conditioner goes off. Getting very paranoid. Who would like to rise to the challenge and make as complicated and strange, messed up, complex sentence as possible? Bakri, are you still unable to?
No, I'm here.
Oh, okay. Bakri, I want to give you a chance to do the other kind of sentence too before before we go. We've only got a few minutes left, so give it a try. That is, okay, remember, that is with a dependent clause in the middle. Okay,
Okay.
give it a try.
Okay. The city that I were born is Khartoum.
Oh, great, you're going to make me spell Khartoum.
OUM, yes, excellent.
Really? I did it?
Yes.
Yay for me. All right. Wonderful. Okay. All right. We've got minor problems.
Okay.
Again, I think you don't need commas. I think this is an essential dependent clause. We got a problem here. Were. Bakri.
Yes.
We can't have were. Were is for plurals. They were. We were. Okay. Just subject verb conjugation. This needs to be the city that I was
Born.
And we're going to need to actually do something about this as well. The city that I was born in. Okay.
Okay.
I was born. You have no choice. You have to use with the born. You have to use a passive form. Bakri, what else could I use instead of that? That is
Which?
okay. The city. Okay.
Which?
Well, this is interesting. The city which I was born in. Yeah. If we consider it to be a thing, sure. It could also be the city where no, I can't say the city where I was born in. No, that doesn't make sense. No, you're absolutely right. It can be that or which. You're absolutely correct.
Okay.
Okay. Is Khartoum. All right. Excellent. All right. Now that works. I have to have was born in though. All right. Yeah. Okay. Does anybody want to attempt to make a ridiculous sentence along the lines of this, this mad example here? Starting with a subordinator. See if you what you did.
Yeah.
All right.
In group chat.
All right. Let me see if I can.
Verbal okay. I wrote it in the verbal chat.
Yeah, I'm trying to paste it over so we can all see it. Yeah, okay. I can't.
I wrote it so you don't have to type it.
Well, no, I cut it and paste it so we can all look at it and play with it. Yeah. Here it is. Since I'm Russian. Okay, what's missing here? Wait.
Comma.
Comma. Yeah, that's right. Since I'm Russian, I always drink vodka. Okay, wait. I'm going to make the dependent clauses. What pretty color should I make them? I'll make them red. Whoops, not wrong. Why? Okay. Since I'm Russian, I always drink vodka. Okay, and then we have a subordinator. Whoops. Oh my God, what happened? Never mind. I'm having problems here. Why is this doing this? Since I'm Russian, I always drink vodka when I have some problems. Okay, and then that cannot be solved. Okay. Okay. And then with, actually this should be with one other small problem here. Whoops, oh my, I'm having some technical difficulties here. Stop highlighting, all right. One small problem, I should, instead of within a few hours, probably should be with a few hours brainstorming. I think so. Okay. So what is? Okay, I kind of butchered this up, but what is the actual independent clause here? Who can tell me? Actually, I kind of marked it, didn't I? Probably. I always drink vodka.
You painted red.
I did that already. All right. The independent clause here is I always drink vodka. How many dependent clauses? Who can
3.
tell me? 3. Okay, let's count. 1, since I'm Russian. 2, when I have some problems. 3, that cannot be solved. Yes, and then with a few hours brainstorming, that's a prepositional phrase. All right. Okay, very good. That's great. Good job. All right, only minor revision needed. Okay, thank you everyone. Thank you very much. Again, a reminder, tomorrow, every day we've been getting more complicated. Tomorrow, compound complex sentences. Same time, same channel. See you then.
Same
And I've got to go. Same teacher. Okay.